Starting in 2 minutes. So we just wait for others to join in. Thanks for your patience. Starting in 2 minutes.
Please turn that thing off to share.
Okay. Yes, we'll be starting now. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're good.
Thank you, everyone. Good evening and welcome to another session with TouchLink. My name is Kemi Olugboje and I will be your moderator this evening. But before I go on, I just want to say, whether today is your first time joining in or you've been a part of this joining since the beginning of the month, we want to take time out to really appreciate you taking the time out to be a part of this. We really do appreciate you. As you're all aware, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and TouchLink has been super active this past few weeks. Prior to 2020, it used to be an in-person walk and we were restricted to one day. But because of the pandemic and having to move everything to virtual, it's actually been really amazing. We've been able to have more days. We've been having 2 sessions each week. So it's kind of like a blessing in disguise, and it's been a very, very exciting time. I thought I knew a lot about domestic violence, but this past few weeks I've been as broadened my horizon and especially on the subject of domestic violence. So go TouchLink. So just in case you're not aware of what TouchLink is all about, I know you do, but just in case. So we are a non-profit organization. We support and empower victims and survivors of domestic violence. Our mission is to provide support services for victims of domestic violence. We do this through legal services. We assist with legal services, social services. We help with just getting them out of the abusive relationship and making sure that they are in a safe place. Then we also work with women, men, children. We work with everyone. We engage in intervention and crisis management, and we also do a lot of outreach programs to educate the public on the subject of domestic violence. So here we are today. It's been an amazing month for us. And before I go on, we have a video to show you. So just sit back and enjoy.
Hi everyone, my name is Yewande Efodele. I'm the president of TouchLink and also an advocate for victims of domestic violence. The reason why I'm talking to you today is because we have a virtual walk that is coming up the entire month of October. From the 1st of October to the 31st of October is being dedicated as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. You hear that right, Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So save the dates, participate, join us. Why should you join us? Okay, here is why. It could be your daughter, yes, or your neighbor, or your niece, or your nephew, that is affected by domestic violence. It could be your colleague at work. It can happen. Domestic violence can happen to anybody. Let's come together this time around and end domestic violence. We must put an end to domestic violence. Why should we do that? We need to do that because it is actually our obligation. We are not just doing somebody a favor, we are doing ourselves a favor and the generation to come. And also, where can you register? You can register online with TouchLink, touchlink.org. Check us out at www.touchlink.org. You'll be seeing our flyers anytime from now. You'll be seeing it in your email on any of our social media. Please register on QGIve. Join us. It's going to be a virtual walk, but it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be fabulous. But guess what? It's not the same without you. We can together come to mobilize people. Not only mobilize people, make so much noise that we shake the entire social media and put an end to this terrible pandemic. Yes, you hear that right. Domestic violence is a pandemic and we can end it now together. Thank you very much. See you there.
Wow, awesome. Thank you, Wanu, for that powerful video. I'm sure you're going to agree with me that we just listened to a woman with passion, with a drive, and with a dream. And we're here living inside her dream. So yeah, shout out to Deaconess Yewande. Before I introduce our speaker for this evening, we need your support. I'm sure you all agree with me that TouchLink is doing an amazing thing, and we want to keep doing this for the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. So how do we need your support? We need you to donate. There are different ways you can support us. One way is to give us to donate to us financial support. You can do this through our website, touchlink.org. There's an aspect there where you can click and you can give your donation. You can also give through our QGIve platform. There are actually two ways you can do that. You can give directly, or you can do through fundraising, where you can create your own team and just share the link with friends, family, colleagues, and then be able to raise money for TouchLink. We are a little bit behind on our target, but we are believing in every one of you to pull together with us so that we can reach our target fund. And also you can show your support by sharing our YouTube channel. So we're on YouTube. You can share the link with your family, with your friends. You can also click the notification button so that whenever we have a new material, you are able to get the notification for that. So I know you're not here to hear about me today, so I'll just go straight to introduce our speaker. So our speaker today is, her name is Adejoke Ojo, and she will be speaking on healthy relationship after abuse. In other words, it is possible. Deaconess Yewande is an example that it is possible for you to get out of an unhealthy relationship and go on to have a healthy one. So Mrs. Ojo is a daughter of God, wife, and a mother to 3 beautiful young adult children. She's a very enthusiastic, authentic, amiable, and passionate woman. She's also a part of a global women intercessory prayer group called Wailing Women Worldwide. So she's a prayer brand. Adejoke has over 23 years of experience working with individuals and families in the mental health field, welfare settings, hospital, and adoption agencies. She currently works with the New Jersey Department of Children and Families. So it's my pleasure to bring Mrs. Adejoke Ojo to the podium. Can we give her a virtual clap, please?
Thank you so much. Thank you. I was always wondering, who are you talking about? I'm not sure who that woman is, Well, to God be the glory. Thank you for that introduction. I just wanted to, start this evening by really thanking my sister, Deaconess Yewande, for what she's doing. She's doing an awesome job. And I just wanted to say the Lord bless you. You are not only doing this very important and crucial work by, educating people and creating awareness, but you're also touching the lives of the survivors and walking them through the process. And the Lord will reward you greatly. Thank you so much. So today we're here to talk about a healthy relationship. Our awesome moderator already talked about, how this is possible. Even after going through abuse, it is possible for you to have a healthy relationship after being abused. So we're going to be talking about that tonight. Love is respect, right? And I want our session tonight to be very interactive. I don't want to talk at you. I want us to um, rub minds together and have a conversation. So I'm going to be asking you to jump in, and if you have any question, just feel free, and you could put it in the chat, and then we'll talk about it later on. Okay. So love is respect. A lot of people will say, "Oh, love is the most important thing in a relationship." Yes, love is important, but there are other things that are even more important than love. Love alone is not. So we're going to jump into that. So relationship in a way, I don't know, can you see my screen? Hello?
Not yet.
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay. I'm going to share my screen. Give me 1 second. Can you see now?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. So the first slide, when I was talking earlier on, says love is a screen. It's a respect. And, yes, we need both love and respect to be able to have a successful and a happy, healthy relationship. So our relationship starts on a spectrum. It just doesn't evolve, into a healthy relationship. It starts from being healthy when people get together and they meet each other, probably through a mutual friend or in school or at work, whichever way they meet each other. So it's like relationship is very healthy, and it can go from being healthy to being toxic if the foundation is faulty. And somewhere in the middle is the unhealthy relationship. Many relationships will start on a healthy relationship and they end up. I don't want to throw a lot of statistics at us, because I know throughout this month of October, my sister, Deaconess Yewande, has done a good job by bringing different presenters, and I know we've learned a lot. But I just wanted to show a few statistics. 1 out of 3 women are going through one form of abuse or the other. And 1 out of between 4 and 7. Some research says 1 in 4, and some say 1 in 7. So it's fluid between 4 to 7 men. So this shows that it's not only women that goes through abusive relationships. There are other men too, in which women are the perpetrators. So that can experience intimate domestic violence in their relationship. However, it is prevalent. It is more among the women, than the men. I want to show this power and control wheel. This is the generic one. This is the one for the adults. There are one for teenagers. There is also one for the elderly, for the people that are older in age. But usually this is the generic one for all adults. You will see at the end of the circle, around the circle, is the physical and the sexual, which is the most common one. A lot of people will think that, oh, if I don't have bruises, or if I don't have a black and blue eye, that I'm not going through domestic violence. But there are so many other forms of domestic violence than that is even worse than the physical one. And the sexual abuse is the one that, a lot of people don't even want to talk about. A lot of women suffer in silence and they don't want to talk about what they're going through, even in marriage. So we're going to get to that in a minute. I just want to point out some of the abusive relationship and the tactics that the perpetrator use. We're here to talk about healthy relationship, but I just wanted to point out some things in the abuse, because we're talking about how it is possible to have a healthy relationship after going through an abusive one. So some of these perpetrators, they use intimidation, they use emotional abuse, they use isolation. I want you to type in the chat, in the chat, if you can just tell us what are the type of abuse of domestic violence that we usually see. You could type it there. It's on my chat, but I just want us to, have a conversation about that. So they use emotional abuse, they use isolation. Sometimes it's like minimizing and blaming, and they use the children. We see that a lot in the work that I do, that when husband and wife or couples have issue, they call Department of Child Protective on the other partner, just to be able to use the children to serve as a punishment for the other party. They also use the male privilege. They talk about a woman is to be heard and not to be seen. When I talk, you don't talk. You have to listen to me. It shouldn't be like that. They also use economic abuse, like they tell you where to work, how many hours you can work, what to do with your money, and all that. And then they use coercion and threats. Some of them even have weapons at home, and they will show you where they keep the weapon, just to put you in control and to put you in check. Like, if you don't do what I want, remember, I have a weapon in the house. So those are some of the types of power and control that some men use on their partner. And I ran into some statistics, and I want to talk a little bit about it. After some women go through that, after they go through the abusive relationship, they find it very difficult to love again. They find it very difficult to learn and to accept love, because they have been so torn, they have been so, frustrated and battered, and they don't have trust for anyone. You will hear them saying, I still don't trust people completely. I don't even know if I can go into any new relationship. It is hard to be sure, that they won't hurt me again, because it's like they've been so hurt before that they don't want to be hurt. So they are all guarded. And, a couple of years might even go by and they don't want to trust anyone. They don't want to go into a new relationship. But now let's talk about healthy relationship. What is the definition of a healthy relationship? Healthy relationships are best described as interdependent. What do we mean by interdependent? It means that you rely on each other for mutual support, but you still maintain your own identity as a unique individual. As an individual, you come to relationship with your own experiences, with your own background, with your own identity and your own need. And that your partner has to recognize and accept that you are a unique individual. In other words, your relationship is balanced. You respect them, they respect you. You know that you can always have their approval and their love. However, your self-esteem doesn't depend on them. You are a unique being on your own. You can make your own decision. Sometimes they're there as a support for you, but they don't tell you what to do. That is how a healthy relationship should be. So in course of putting this together, I saw another will that talks about healthy relationship that is centered on love. How many of us know that love alone, like I said, is not enough? There are other qualities that we need in a relationship to be able to function very well. There is another slide after this, but I want you to type in the chat, what are the type of quality that you think will make a healthy relationship? You could type it in the chat and then we could talk. If I don't talk about it, then we can talk about it later during the question and answer. Honesty is key. You want to be able to have an open and honest discussion. You want to have respect for each other, and never intentionally hurt each other. You want to be able to reach a compromise. Sometimes you meet your partner where they are, so that it's not only one person making all the important decisions. Some relationship, the guy in the house is the one that make all the big decision, and you are only allowed to make a little decision or no decision at all. I mean, in a healthy relationship, you want to be able to make sure that you are heard and your voice is important. You want to feel safe in your relationship. It's very, very important to be safe. You don't want to be belittled. You want to feel comfortable in your own skin. You don't want to feel distressed. And if you are in any relationship and you don't feel safe in it, that is probably not the right relationship for you. You should be thinking about looking at it with a second eye. You want to feel supported by your partner. And what does that mean, to be supported? Even when you don't agree on something and you want to do something that your partner doesn't really have interest in, but because they love you, they should be able to support you to do that. Like if you like to go to the gym, and your partner is the type that doesn't believe in going to the gym or whatever, and you want to register in a gym so you can exercise, you should be able to support you. You should be able to take money out of your purse to go and do what you need to do for yourself, right? You have to feel like you've been listened to when you talk. There should be mutual trust in a healthy relationship. And like they always say, trust is a bedrock of any relationship. If there is no trust, then the relationship cannot be happy and healthy. So I also saw this will that is based on respect. Remember, the title is Love and Respect. So in this slide, there are some things that are here that are not in the other one, and there are some that are in both of them. Honesty was in the other slide, so that shows that honesty is very, very important. Communication openly and truthfully. Safety, again, support, trust, but cooperation was not in the other one. So you should be having the cooperation of your partner. You should be asked if you want to do something, not expected to do it. Not saying do what I say, but ask, oh, honey, do you want to do this? Do you mind if we do this together? You should be able to accept changes. You should be able to make a decision together mutually and not just one person making all the decision. You should be able to find resolution to conflict in a win-win situation. Not all conflicts should result into anger or being yelled at or being called names. We're going to get into that later. And in a healthy relationship, both partners have to be accountable. Accountability is key. You have to be able to admit when you make a mistake, when one person do something wrong, because we're human. We're always gonna, we're not perfect. We can step on each other's toes. And the beauty of it is for you to be able to accept when you make a mistake. And you should be able to take responsibility for your behaviors, your attitude, your actions, and your values. Does anybody have any question before we move forward in that? Okay. So what are the major signs of healthy relationship? I know that, we talked a lot about all those ones, but there are some that are very, very important. Like I said earlier, love is very important. That is the first thing that actually attracts two people to each other. Oh, I love this person. That might be a particular attribute or quality that you have that person loves. But the feelings of mutual love and administration has to be there in order to keep the relationship strong and going. Let the other person know how you feel about them. You may let them know how you feel, but that doesn't mean that they should use that against you. You may let them know how important they are in your life and how you admire their qualities, but the feelings have to be mutual. The feelings of being loved is one of the most important, wonderful feelings in the world. When you love someone and someone loves you back, that is the beauty of it. Love should not be one-sided. And love should not be blind that, okay, when something is going wrong in the relationship, you say, oh, but I love him. And you don't take action to take care of yourself. And talking about love too, you have to love yourself to an extent that you don't want to put yourself in a position where you're going to be abused or you're going to be maltreated. And there's this saying that you have to teach people how to treat you. So if you don't love yourself, if you have a low self-esteem and you don't value yourself, they're going to treat you that same way. So it's very, very important to know it's good to have love, but love alone is not enough. So going back to respect again, respect means that each person values who the other person is, and you understand the other person's boundary, and you don't violate the boundary. Respecting the individuality of your partner is very important. You don't want to be criticized. You don't want to fight over every little thing. It's not a healthy situation to do that. And you cannot and should not try to change your partner. You should respect your partner for who they are. And in order to create a healthy and happy relationship, you want to be able to make sure that your opinion and your decisions are respected in that relationship, that it's not one-sided. So communication is very, very important. You want to be able to feel free when you are talking about something that is important to you. You want to speak honestly. You want to be able to speak openly. Some people can't even talk in their own household. Some people that are in dating, they have to talk when their partner is not there, or they cannot talk about what is going on in their relationship. This is not a good and healthy relationship if you cannot communicate with each other. If you need to sort out your own feelings first, your partner, your boyfriend, your girlfriend should be able to understand and respect your wish and give you time until you are ready.
What I want to do now, Abby?
Until you are ready to talk about a certain situation. Many couples try to suppress their feelings, when they are hurt or when they are angry, and they just use the silent treatments, for each other. But this is not a healthy way of resolving conflict. It is always good to communicate and try to find a resolution to whatever issue that is going on. When you give each other silent treatment, it makes matters worse. It's like you're sweeping things under the rug, and before you know it, it's going to blow up, in an unexpected way. So we don't want to do that. You want to have a mutual communication and respect each other when you're communicating. So the opposite of mutual communication, we create mistrust and misunderstanding when you don't communicate often. But communication has to be two ways. When you're communicating, your partner has to be listening to you actively and show that they are there in the presence with you, right? However, when you are talking, the other person is listening. And when the other person is listening, you are talking. That is how to be able to resolve issues. So we want to talk about trust. Without trust, there is no way to have a healthy relationship. You choose to trust each other and give each other the benefit of the doubt. One of the most important ingredients of a happy relationship is to be able to trust each other. If you don't have trust in your partner and you constantly doubt your partner, you doubt what he says, you doubt his action, you will never be happy. And that partner too will not be happy. So it's always important to have a mutual trust. You know that they are loyal and they are trustworthy, they are honest, and they're truthful. So like they always say, you can take whatever they tell you to the bank, knowing that you have each other's back and you are committed to each other. If there have been any situation that has caused a mistrust, it is always good to address those things and work through it in an amicable way. You want to get to the root of it, you want to discuss it so that it doesn't reoccur all the time. Because when there's a mistrust, the relationship is going to suffer. We want to talk about, compromise. This is very, very important. Two people in a relationship bring individual thought, individual behavior, individual personalities. You are brought up in two different families and maybe you have two different values. But now that you are in a relationship together, you want to be able to reach a compromise. You won't always get your ways, and the other person have to know that they're not always going to get their ways. You want to acknowledge the different points of view and be willing to give and take. A healthy relationship is give and take. It is a bad sign when relationship become a power struggle and one person is always the one making the decision. That is not a healthy relationship. You want to find a common ground, which means you are able to express your opinion. The other party understand where you are coming from. There is a mutual understanding, and there is you are accepting the differences of each other and agreeing to meet each other in the middle. And both people must feel that they're being heard and they're being understood. So you want to feel acknowledged, you want to feel heard, and you want to feel understood. So this one is a bit controversial. This is a tough one. When we talk about sex, a lot of people don't want to talk about sex in their relationship, especially in the Christendom and especially in the African culture. It's like a sacred cow that we don't talk about. But this is very, very important because a lot of people that are in relationship, even married couples, are being maltreated. They use sex as a weapon in their relationship. They use sex to punish the other person. They use sex to abuse the other person. There are so many statistics that show that people that are married even get raped or sexually assaulted in their marriage. Regardless of how sacred or how we think we don't want to put our business out there, it is an important talk to have. Along with respect and understanding of each partner's need, sex between partners should be consensual. You cannot even say because I'm married. I know the Bible says that your body is not your body. It belongs to your partner. But then your partner still have to respect your wish, and it has to be consensual when your partner want to have intimacy with you. They should both be able to talk freely about their desire without fear of being shameful, of being dismissive, of being disgusted. And you don't want to get those reactions from your partner. And you don't want to, I was listening to a preacher one time, and she was an advocate of domestic violence also. And she was talking to the fact that in a given relationship, the man is way older than the wife, maybe almost like double her age. And she actually treats the wife like his child, to an extent that when they have a misunderstanding, he physically punished the woman. Like, go and kneel down there and raise up your hand. And then when it's time for him to release the woman, it's like, okay, you get upstairs now, go and take a shower and get on the bed, ready for me. I mean, that is disgusting. And that is uncalled for. No woman should be treated that way. It doesn't matter how many years differences you have. It doesn't matter if it's once you are married and you are a couple, you should be respected in your relationship. So understanding is part of it comes with the mutual communication. It comes with the compromise. You have to take a minute to understand what your partner might be feeling. You don't want to always, think about yourself alone in a relationship. You want to put yourself in other person's shoe. And this can improve your communication skill if you have understanding of your partner. If you need to sort out things, your partner should understand and give you time to be able to sort it out. You can learn to problem solve if you understand each other. You can identify new solutions to any issue or any conflict that you might be having. And your partner should understand and respect your wishes and wait until you are ready to talk about a matter. You should not be coerced. You should not be threatened. You should not be you should not be asked to do what you are not willing to do. There should be emotional understanding in a healthy relationship. This one is very important. Anger control. We all get angry, but how we express it is what really matters. And it can affect our relationship with others. Anger can be handled in a healthy way, such as taking a deep breath and counting 1 to 10 before even talking about a matter. On Monday, when my sister Shinelo was talking about the domestic violence among the youth, it is very, very important for our children, especially the older people, to see how adults, the fathers and the mother, resolve conflict. Because conflict is always going to come up, even in a healthy relationship. And the way you address those conflicts is what matters. And the children are learning from it, so that in their own relationship too, they will be able to utilize whatever they learn from you. Everyone argues at some point in time, but you should stick to the point and stick to the subject and avoid insults or calling the other person names, or come up with a possible solution and not pointing fingers. There is a difference between anger and battle. Some people, the Bible even told us, be angry, but sin not. But some people, when they're angry, their anger leads into sin, because that's when they get physical with their partner and they begin to batter their partner. So to be able to have anger control is very, very important in a healthy relationship. Otherwise, that relationship is not going to end the way we want it to. We should never get physical with our partner. If you have any partner that lays their hand on you or get physical with you, that is probably not a good relationship, and you should do something about it. Partners should take a break from each other if the discussion is getting too heated. If you are talking about something and the other person is getting uncontrollably angry, maybe it's time for you to step aside, because you don't want to put yourself in a situation. So in conclusion, I wanted to say that relationship can be challenging. It can take a toll on our mental and emotional and physical health. It can affect our mood. It can affect our focus at work. It can affect how we take care of our children. It can affect how we relate with other people. In fact, when people don't have a healthy relationship, when they are involved in domestic violence, it leads to child abuse. There are so many statistics out there that say that 30 to 60% of children in domestic violence home will end up as an abused child, and they will end up to abusing their own children when they grow up, because that's what they learn, that's what they see growing up. And you know how they say apple doesn't fall too far away from the tree. Those children will intend go out there and abuse their partners in the future also. It is very, very important to educate people. Psychoeducation is very important. And that's why I'm very appreciative of what Deaconess Yewande is doing, especially with young people. It is very important for us to educate them about how to value and respect and the characteristic, and learn the characteristic of healthy and unhealthy relationship, even before they start dating. There are studies out there that say as soon as your child is about to talk, from a very early age of 2 or 3, you should be talking to them about healthy and unhealthy relationships. You should maintain an open line of communication. When you start teaching your children about their body parts, good touch, bad touch, that is when to start talking to them about what a healthy relationship is and what an unhealthy relationship is. It is very, very important to open that line of communication and talk to our children and teach them to be able to recognize the signs of unhealthy relationship, and so that we can prevent the cycle of violence before it even starts. So what are the important things that we should know? Sometimes people get out of abusive relationship and they think that they're getting into an healthy one. And remember, I said earlier that relationship is a spectrum, and it goes from, the tension is good. It starts from a healthy relationship, but it can quickly become toxic. If you find yourself in that situation, know that you are not alone, and know that you don't deserve to be called names. You don't deserve to be abused. You don't deserve to be talked down on or be controlled. And don't let anybody make you feel guilty. Don't be ashamed of the situation or being embarrassed. Speak up about it. Think about the relationship. Assess your relationship. There are checklists out there that you can use to measure whether your relationship is healthy or not. And when you find out that the relationship is not healthy, you have to move on and do something. Seek help. Think about the relationship, think about the abuse, think about how it's affecting your overall well-being, and reach out for help. If need be, know your community resources that are available to you. Thank God that TouchLink is there, and there are other agencies out there too that can be of help. What can we do as a people, as a community member, because domestic violence, I kept hearing my sister Deaconess Yewande throughout the month saying that domestic violence is an epidemic, and it is not one person's job. It is all of our jobs to make sure that we are able to eradicate domestic violence, and we put a stop to it. I ran into a statistics that says that between 1994 and 2010, 1994 to 2010, approximately 4 in 5 people were victims of domestic violence. Now we're talking about 1 in 3 or 1 in 4. So there are good jobs that are being done out there, especially like people like, Deaconess Yewande bringing awareness and doing psychoeducation, but we still need to continue. We still have a long way to go. And all of us have to join hands with her to be able to do this work. So what we can do to help: look out for the red flags, such as withdrawal in isolation, emotional and physical signs. If you go out in the church, you see your sister is not as active as he used to be, or you visit a friend and you saw that the friend is not looking happy, or is emotionally or physically down, or your girlfriend is not returning your phone call. She's not, talking to you the way you used to. Be on the lookout. Look out for the red flag. As a community member, we have to listen, we have to believe, and we have to help connect people to appropriate agencies. When people are in abusive relationship, it takes a lot for them to speak up. And it can really, really affect people when they are able to find strength to talk and people don't believe them or people don't listen to them. They have the tendency of shutting down and never talk about it again, especially if it is sexual abuse and you talk about it to somebody and they don't believe you. The victims in turn blame themselves, and we don't want that to happen. We have to teach and encourage healthy relationship and nonviolent relationship from a very young age. We have to support local advocates that are spread all over our community. Please volunteer with TouchLink, donate, if your time, your money. There are people that left the abusive relationship and they have to leave everything that they have behind. So they have to start from square one, even from like cutlery, from clothes, from pots. So we need money to be able to help them to start their life all over again. So financial resources is very, very important. So I have here, reach out for help. If you know somebody that is going through this, try to help them. Don't keep quiet. Encourage them to speak up. Reach out to someone inside or outside of your network. You can reach out to TouchLink. They are there all the time. They are able to assist you. And there are other state agencies also. I have TouchLink contact here, and I also have domestic violence hotline, New Jersey domestic violence hotline. They're open 24/7. There's always somebody there to take the call. And TouchLink also, there's always somebody there to answer your call. So we can go into question and answer now. And this is where it's gonna become interactive, so we can talk and have a conversation.
Wow, thank you so much, Ms. Ojo, for that powerful presentation. That was awesome. Please, anyone, if you have any question, you can unmute yourself, I think. You should be able to unmute yourself, or you can type your question into the chat box and someone will pick it up and ask that question. But I do have one question here for you. In the chat box. So you say, how do you teach a person how to treat you?
That's a very good question. You know, when you put yourself in a place of respect and you are kind to yourself, and right from the beginning of your relationship, you have a conversation and have a mutual understanding. This is what I love. This is what I don't love. This is the way if we have conflict, this is the way we're gonna sit down and talk and resolve the conflict. You know, and if they do something outside of what you guys agreed on, you can call the person attention to it, not in a combative way, not in a confrontational way, but in a loving way. And it's very, very important when you show that you care about yourself and that you respect yourself. So you expect your partner to respect you. I, I, to the glory of God, have been married for 26 years, and I know that there is no marriage that is perfect. Just this summer when we were home, I work with the state and I go out, I come back late. I do appreciate the fact that we are able to work from home now, but that is not my, you know, I appreciate the fact that the state wanted us to stay home and work, but staying home, working in the same place and living in the same place was getting to me at one point that I just wanted, like, no, this is getting too much. My husband, on the other hand, is an IT person. He's been working from home all this while, so he doesn't mind. He can work from home forever. He only go to the office or go when he travel out of state, but otherwise he's at home. So it's like, okay, he's working all the time, he's on his computer. I feel like we're not having conversation, we are home together, but we're not really talking. I'm upstairs, doing my own work and he's doing his own work. And at the time I have to, like, okay, let's talk about this. Something is bothering me, let's talk about it. And he keeps saying, okay, we're gonna talk about it, we're gonna talk about it. But as time goes on, I was getting antsy about it, and I actually have to put it down in writing and write a letter and give it to him. So when he saw the letter, he was like, what? I thought, I didn't know he was this serious. I'm like, yes, I've been telling you we need to talk, but you're not paying attention. So this and this and this are my concern. And we were able to sit down and talk about it amicably. But instead of me keeping it inside and letting it build up, I was able to put it down in writing. And I was also reading in a research that was done that people that are married have the tendency of neglecting each other, because when you were dating, you send love letter to each other, you were sending text messages, you were talking about sweet nothings, right? But now that you are married, it's like, okay, all you talk about is finances, the children and job. You don't even talk about like personal things anymore. So I think it's very, very important to be able to do that. I don't know if anybody else have any other suggestion. That's why I wanted to be interactive. But that is the way that I try to teach people how to treat me. You're not just going to ignore me when I say I have something to talk about. I'm going to let you know that this is, important to me, and I want us to talk about it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I have another question. How do you know when you're ready to start again as a survivor? How do you know that you are in a good place, in a good mental state to start again?
That's a very important question. Like I said earlier, a lot of people, years could go by, and domestic violence creates trauma in people. And those traumas sometimes takes years to go away, to be able to overcome the trauma. It's not something that we just, that you could just wish away. If it is possible, sometimes people go into trauma therapy and they talk with their counselor, and the counselor is able to process it along with them. And you see when you start feeling better, when you are able to interact more. You could even start with mutual friends, like maybe church members or maybe co-workers, not even a romantic relationship, and then you will begin to know that, okay, maybe I can go out on a date, for dinner with someone, and then from there, gradually, it can become like an intimate relationship. But you have to listen to yourself, and you have to follow your own gut, because it's not always going to be automatic. And what worked for A might not work for B. It's on a one by one level. It's on an individual level. It's not a cookie cutter. There is no set way to say, okay, maybe after 1 year or after 2 years, you'll be ready. No, it might take some people 5 years. It might take other people 3 years. It might take someone else 1 year. It all depends. And if you have a therapist or somebody that you trust that is working through those issues with you, you will know when you are ready. Your instinct will tell you. And then you might have okay, go ahead.
I just want to speak from the victim's perspective. Number one, it's always good, or it's not good, to go immediately back into a relationship when you are still hot, when you are still boiling, when you're still, you still have all these issues going on. You are not yet stable. You are not stable. It's not good. When you're ready to go into a relationship, when all those traits, all those issues are not there anymore. You are not bottled in, you are healed, so to say. Healing is a process, like she said. It takes, some people, it might take them, months, others, it might take years. But at the same time, you are ready for a relationship when you don't harbor even bitterness towards your abuser. Very important. Why did I say that? Because if you're still harboring bitterness towards your abuser, if you go into the next relationship, you will hurt. You are going to repeat episode, or you will hurt. So it's always good to take care of yourself first. Mm-hmm. And when you're ready, you are ready. There's no bitterness. You are not always having this flashback. Some people say, I can't stand a man, because of they've been hurt. Even I've met quite a lot of times, few people that actually, they started dating same sex, all because they could not stand guys anymore because of the trauma that they've been through. Not that that is good. What I'm saying is, something is still wrong with you. So you need to really check yourself in, get yourself those treatments. And when you're ready, you're ready, because there's no bitterness. You are much at a better state to handle relationship.
And that's so important. That's so true, because a lot of people, whatever unresolved issues that they had in the previous relationship, they have the tendency of carrying it along. And when their partner do something, it quickly reminds them of the other person. So it's always good to give yourself time to heal, to go get through those emotions and get them out of your system before you move on into any relationship. Yeah. Okay. Very important.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We have another question from our chat box. So we see a lot of women who their husband brought from Africa to the United States, and they are scared of speaking up because of the family involvement. How can we strengthen them to seek help? That's the first question. Second question is, for a Christian who is in an unhealthy relationship, should you be praying or should you pray and also seek for help?
Absolutely. We should pray and seek for help, because the Bible even told us that all prayer without work is dead. Because you cannot just be praying and crying and you're not taking action. If you don't take action, you don't want to just keep yourself in an abusive relationship. You have to seek help. And the first question said, how do we strengthen them? By what we are doing now, by creating awareness, by talking about it. Like I said before, there are some issues like in the Christendom they don't want us to talk about, or in the African culture, it's like, oh no, that's sacred. That stays within the family. We don't talk about it. No, you need to talk about it because you don't want to continue to suffer in silence and you don't want to die in silence. If you don't speak up about it, you're not going to be able to get help. It is good to pray, but there are some things that prayer alone is not enough. It's not going to do for us. We need to talk to experts and professionals that can help us through those situations. Deaconess Yewande is there. I'm sure she will be more than willing, and all the other people that work with her and volunteer with her too will be, and if it's something that, we cannot really handle within that, then we can refer the people to professionals that can help them with that.
Thank you. So I have a question. This is just from me. So I know that the human nature is, after we've gone through a traumatic event, you tend to be guarded. I mean, I've heard people who were survivors of domestic violence say, I'm never, ever letting my guard down for any man ever, And so it's almost like saying you're erecting a wall around yourself, but the problem is the same wall that keeps bad people out is the same wall that will keep good people out as well. So my question is, how can we remain guarded without missing out on the chance or the opportunity to love again?
Deacon Yewande, do you want to help us with that?
Yeah, it's kind of part of what I said before. I think a lot of times, most of us, when things happens, life happens, and then we go back again into another relationship with the same issue, even though you're guided, we need to take a little time for ourselves to take care of ourselves. Taking care of yourself, self-care is important. And self-care is not just putting makeup, doing your nails and your hair. Those are the physical things. What about emotional care? What about your mental care? It's very important. And that's why some of us are so guarded, because you're still living in the pain. And it's not easy to get out of the pain, but at the same time, really assessing what happened, examining what you have been through, and then what are the lessons to learn from those things, right? And then before you go into a new relationship, of course, you need to speak about it. You need other people to get involved. Allow other people, allow mentors to get into your life to help you, because some of these things, we can't do it alone. We cannot isolate ourselves and say, yes, this is what I'm just going to do. Some things are not just like that. You really have to allow mentor to step in and help you. The reason why most of us are still guarded is because we are still reliving the past. We are still reliving the past, and it's not easy to ease off. So, but you discover the moment you start talking about it, the moment you start getting other people, like I said, trusted mentors into your life, and over time, you let down your guard. And you are not just letting down your guard, you are, again, because you have done assessment of what happened. You are also aware. You are aware of the red signals, right? Red flags. You are also aware of the blind spots, and you are like, that's what The people around you, the good people around you will see the blind spots. You can't see it, but other people will see it. And that helps you to be able to move on with your life. It's a journey. You have a lot to do. You are valuable. You are important. There's so much that is still waiting for you. The whole world is waiting for you to manifest. There's so much for you to do, right? You cannot stop your life. Thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you. You cannot put yourself on hold. You know, it's good to be gathered, but there are some lessons that we learned from the previous one. And when you see it coming and you see those red flags, it quickly reminds you, and then you will be able to, okay, if you have already walked through it, and some things that you learn from that, you can put it into practice and be able to modify this relationship so that it doesn't get toxic and it doesn't get abusive like the previous one get into. Mentor, like our sister said, is very, very important. It's not a journey that you can go, that you can embark on alone. It's a journey that you need other people to work with. Some people even attend like support group of other women that have gone through the same thing. And then, they become very close friends. They become supporters to each other. And they are there to be able to help you along the journey. It's good to be guarded, but it will get to a point that we'll begin to let our guards down. And then we'll be able to let other people into. And if we look out for all these good qualities and you are able to see it, when you see a loving person, when you see someone that respects you, when you see someone that shows understanding and is able to communicate well with you, it will help us to be able to let the guard down little by little. But it's not going to be automatic. It's not going to be overnight. It's a process. It's a journey.
Thank you. I just have to share this, especially because you and Diknesh Wande touched on having a mentor and just having people around you that can show you what healthy relationship is all about. I mean, I grew up in Africa and I kind of witnessed a bit of domestic violence with my parents. It wasn't like really crazy, but in those days, I guess it wasn't called domestic violence. It was called the man is exerting himself on the wife. And I mean, I was like 11, 12-year-old, and I made up my mind that I was never going to get married. My parents didn't know, my mom didn't know, my dad didn't know. As a 12-year-old, I was like, if this is what having a family and husband is all about, I'm not doing it. And I went all the way to college with that mindset. And then after my college, I stayed with my sister. And I saw a different type of relationship. And that kind of just shifted my perspective. Like, if I didn't go to my sister, I probably would still be a sprinter today. So having that, it opens what a healthy relationship is all about. So I think having a mentor in our life and people who can show us or demonstrate what healthy relationship is all about, I think that's very key to moving on into a healthy relationship.
Very, very good. Thank you for sharing. There are times that, even as young adults, you see two people, they're dating, they have good relationship, they've been around each other, maybe they went to college together, and they respect each other. And we are wondering, like, what are you waiting for? Why are you guys not talking about marriage? Like, having that mentor that is able to like call the attention to it, to say, I don't think it's advisable for you guys to keep wasting time, and you've been together for X amount of time. It is good for you to settle down. So that kind of mentor and arrangement and even like a role model, just like your sister and what you saw with your sister, is very, very important. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Does anybody have any questions before we're going to be rounding up in a couple of minutes? But thank you so much.
I do have a question. Thank you so much. This is such a great topic. Thank you so much. So my question is this: what advice do you have for some people who kind of like fall into a certain kind of relationship, especially unhealthy, like one after the other? What kind of advice do you have for them that would kind of like help them not to expose themselves to such things? Like, what are like things to look out for? Thank you.
Thank you. Research shows that children that grow up from an abusive and domestic violence environment tend to pick someone that will probably exercise domestic violence on them. And we see it even in the work that I do, that it's not even only one time. They pick this partner, what happened in the previous partner happened again.
Wow.
And then they pick another partner and it's the same thing. And it's the same thing, just like, children of alcoholic parents, they have the tendency to become alcoholic themselves too. Because, they gravitate towards what they saw going on. And that cycle has to be broken. It has to be broken it can be broken when you have a good mentor, when you have a therapist, somebody that can walk you through and point out the patterns to you. And kind of like in motivational interview to help you to see, like, what is it that attracts you? We say, like, in the job that I do, like, some women like bad boys. They like people that will treat them roughly, that will not have respect for them, that will not even, show them love or mutual understanding, because that's what they grow up and that's what they know, that's what they see. It takes somebody to help them break that cycle, for them to be able to make changes. Mentoring is very good, referring them out to professionals and sending them to someone that can help them go through the trauma. What is it that they like in that kind of abusive relationship? They have to process it, they have to walk through it, and they have to develop a coping skill so that in the next relationship, they will not fall a victim of the same thing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Ojo, for spending your evening with us. We really appreciate that. We hope to see you again very soon. We're going to be wrapping up very, very soon. I just have a few announcements. So we have our closing rally coming up on Saturday. It's been a long month, but it's been so rewarding. So we have a couple of things lined up. I think it's from 9 to 10. So we want everyone to come out and support us. We want the whole Airwave to be blown over with TouchLink. We want you to share the links on YouTube and just give us, a very amazing closing rally. It's Saturday, starting from 9 to 10 a.m. And also, we need your support. I did mention that at the beginning, but there were quite a few people who were on this platform at that time. We need your support, especially your financial support. Mr. Joe said something like, we do do kits for our survivors. We pay for legal services. Sometimes we provide gift card. During Christmas and New Year, we do give gifts. So we do need your financial support. Our target is 35K. To date, we've raised 14. So we're like, I'm not good with my math, but from how it sounds, we're not even halfway yet. So, but we are counting on every one of you to please donate. You can do that on our website, www.touchlink.org. You can also give on our QGive platform. If you go on our website, everything you need to give is on our website. If you have any question, clarification, reach out to Dickness Yewande, and just send us an email and we will get right back to you. And thank you everyone for spending your evening with us. And we hope to see you all on Saturday by God's grace. Thank you. And have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, everyone. God bless you. Thank you, Sister Joke. That was powerful. Thank you, everyone. I'm really happy to see all these beautiful faces. Take care. God bless. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you, Chinelo. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Nice to see you.
Good night. Thank you.
Nice to see you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.